everyone. Welcome to the Spaces with Divi. I'm Renuk. We've got Voice and Rob also with us today. So as usual, what I'll do is do a quick introduction to Divi and then talk through what we're going to cover today and then get straight into it. So for those who are listening to us later on and for those who are joining us for the first time, Divi, since our inception in 2017, our focus has always been on making crypto easy and accessible for everyone, everywhere. That's always been the main focus for us, and all of our products, such as our Divi Wallet, Divi DeFi, staking walls, they all kind of focus on that. So if you haven't had a chance, take a look later on. You can get through our socials onto those websites. And over the last few spaces, we've been talking about our new roadmap, and one of the key things we've been talking about is utility. So all throughout, even today, we'll talk about, how utility becomes key part of Divi's focus. And again, as I've always said, as we've always welcome, ask any questions as we go along. So today we're going to cover Immortal NFTs. So you've seen that over the last couple of days, we've been sharing through emails and our socials as well, a code update, and also what's coming up in the future. So without further ado, I'll hand over to Voice.
Hey, okay, so I should be live now. Took my mute off. There is the update that has come for the desktop wallet that came out just a short while ago. So make sure again that you're completely updated. Some people have updated. And then they did a partial update, meaning that usually their Windows system will have some sort of I don't know. Windows is always problematic. It will update the daemon only, or it will update the desktop only. And so you need to make sure that if that happens, you most likely, not always, but most likely have a very, very old version. That means below 194, probably 192 or below that. And that means you've been missing out on a lot of good things. So make sure that if you know somebody who has problems with updating mismatched, they can just go right to diviproject.org/downloads, and they can go ahead and get the full install there. They simply just need to shut down their desktop, reinstall or install over the top the new version. If they have any issues with the daemon, they can go into settings and then maintenance and then just click update daemon. So if they have any problems with that. The other thing that you may have noticed, some of you who watch, is the updates that have been happening to the core. That's the Foundation's open source blockchain core. There has been many thousands of commits, and that means that's the hard work that Random String has put into the work on that. That's a lot of hours for him, a lot of back and forth, a lot of sore fingers, sore wrists, just blood, sweat, and tears going into the continuation of the core and the implementation of the features and functions that will lay the groundwork for Divi 3.0. So some of you will see that in the GitHub repo that's coming out. There's also been a ton of updates with the Divi mobile wallet, and will continue, of course, with the Divi mobile wallet. Every single week there will be something that the team is working on, and then those things will be released into the community. There's a lot of work going on. Everybody's got their nose to the grindstone. There's never been a moment that there's been just a rest. It's just constant action and work by the team. It's just amazing to see the productivity and the levels that have completely changed with the sort of the revision of the team. Thousands of % of increase in productivity in some cases. So we'll start seeing those things come to fruition. So in your Divi mobile wallet, just make sure you pay attention to those updates as they come through. If you have an iPhone, you'll see a little yellow icon that will pop up. And when you see that next to the icon, that means you have an update. If you have Google Play, when you open up the Play app, it'll tell you what kind of updates you need. If you ever have any questions about that, you can just visit the stores themselves, and the stores will tell you about updates. For Divi Desktop, if you have Windows or Mac, you'll have an auto update feature. And if you have any troubles with that, a manual install over the top will of course rectify those situations. And that's what I have for you right now on those updates. Lots of work going on.
That's great. Thank you, boys. Do we have any questions on that? No. Yeah, I think it's pretty clear. I mean, it's very straightforward. Thank you, guys. And also, we've got Nick on the spaces today as well. So, prepare some questions for him later on as well. Rob, I think you also have an update on DAO as well.
I do. The DAO, as we've mentioned many times, again, I'm just going to assume there's some new people here. We're trying to create a governance organization, which is the DAO. For the foundation, it's going to be many steps. We are still very early in the process. We have kind of voted upon, like what the governance model looks like. It requires NFTs to participate. But right now, while we're in this early stuff, it just simply requires one eDivi, on the Ethereum blockchain, and all the voting happens on the Ethereum blockchain. If you want to get involved, and you should get involved, head into the Discord, look at the DAO section, and you can see inside, you can see our progression, but you can also see how to get involved. So heavily request that you join and help us out here. We're discussing three things right now, but today, I just got back from a trip. Today I'm going to put on a simple one. It's a no-brainer. There's a lot of attacks on DAOs right now, and I believe that putting the one that we're discussing right now, which just demands that the DAO operates in a non-custodial fashion, makes no promises about price increases. It doesn't have its own coin or token, so that's what we're voting on, about the non-custodial nature about the DAO, that it won't employ processes or require or hold anybody's money. It's a no-brainer, but I think it should be put forward and just laid out. And again, for the future, so that everybody knows, like if something is like, hey, let's get a pot and put it in this guy's control, and we'll all own part of this new project. That's a no-no. So that's the key with this thing. I'm going to put it up for vote. It'll be a short vote in terms of, I think maybe the voting period will be between today at midnight to Wednesday at midnight. So that's that one. Please, if you're already signed up, please vote. If you're not signed up, please take the time after the spaces or before midnight Eastern today to actually sign up. You just need to get a MetaMask wallet, get at least one eDivi in it, and then you sign up for the snapshot, and you're good to go. The other two things that we're discussing right now are the governance model that we're proposing requires that you have a way to an NFT that allows you to propose and an NFT that allows you to vote. The way you get these NFTs are either by purchasing them or they're assigned to you if you run a vault. So if you're really participating in the Divi ecosystem and you're running a vault, when we get the technical part of this set up, and you fill out a form or whatever, you will just be granted voting and proposing NFTs that are affixed to the level of the amount of Divi that you have in a vault. The vault won't matter whether it's in the mobile wallet, the desktop wallet, or if you launch one yourself. Just having a vault is what will grant you the NFT. The NFT will last as long as that vault lasts. And then it will disappear. So what we're voting on is basically how should those NFTs look. So there have been a couple of submissions. I'm going to submit something later, but I was really hoping we could get the community to put some. I mean, if you want to go ahead onto one of the AI graphic AIs, go for it. Get on there, put some prompts in that you think would represent Divi voting and proposing, or Divi and voting proposing. Get it in there. There's a form to fill out, so you can submit it. And I hope to have lots of submissions. It'll be fun. And that's basically DAO for now.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Can I just add one thing about the DAO?
Of course.
Okay. we have many things that are actionables that everybody in the community needs to share, and that is the Immortal NFT, which is the governance token that is honoring the masternode holders, right? So right now there is the Immortal NFT. There's a DAO proposal for that. There's a DAO proposal for the style of the NFT, but this NFT is specifically for masternodes. That means if you have a masternode, you do need to pay attention to that email you received a couple of days ago. This is an actionable that happens between July 5th and July 16th. If you don't do this, you miss out on your governance token, which is the Immortal token. All of you who do this and participate in this, that's the challenge. The challenge is for the community to get actionable on this. This will affect your governance vote, and it honors you as a masternode masternode owner or masternode participant, whatever you want to go. You run a masternode. So make sure that you get your NFT for that. There's an email again. Check your email. If you have any questions, we can share that link for you, and maybe you can touch on how that Immortal token will help them. That would probably
totally.
Be something.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. I totally forgot. So along with the voting and proposing NFTs I talked about that you get when you are running a validator vault, or there's also a methodology by which you can just buy them. None of this happens today, but that's the plan going forward. This is a special one. So This is unlike those, the ones that you buy, they burn after you use them, and the ones that are attached to the validator vaults, those burn when the vault goes down. This one doesn't burn, and it's transferable. So if you participate in this little activity, then with your masternodes, it's basically standing up a new one. If you have an old one, take it down, stand up a new one within this time. Leave it running during the time, and you will be rewarded with one of these Immortal. It doesn't burn, and it's transferable, and NFTs that allow you to participate in the DAO. So this is for you. It's minimal amount of work on your part. It's how you get rewarded for running masternodes for as long as they still exist. And so there's no actual. The only cost to you is a few minutes to take down what you have, put up your new one, and you'll earn the new the NFT that lets you be part of governance.
Correct. So in the email, it states that what you have to do is deploy a new masternode during this time frame, or you redeploy, and the steps for redeploy are dismantle and then deploy again. That's the first step. So deploy or redeploy, and then you visit the form to input the details of what you've just done, and then you will enter in an address for the ERC 721, which is an NFT, and that is managed by any sort of an Ethereum wallet that can handle NFTs, such as MetaMask, my Ether wallet, and those are mobile available, and so you need to do that too. So make sure that if you get this email, you act on it. If you don't act on it, it's gone. So after that date, it's over with. So only the few people, or hopefully all people who participate in that, get their special standing, special honoring of this Immortal NFT. You deserve it, so you should work on it.
Absolutely. Thank you both. If you haven't seen the email, or if you haven't seen any of the socials, just head over to our diviproject.org/blog, and it's the first article on the top, so you'll find it there as well. Voice and Rob, do we have anything else before I hand over to Nick to give a quick update and say hello to everyone with his new profile photo?
I'm good.
We're good.
Over to you, Nick. Hello. Welcome.
Hey, guys. Thanks for the updates. Lots of exciting stuff happening. Yes, this is actually a picture of me. This is just what happens after you've been in crypto for 10 years.
You resemble me in voice now.
That's great.
Love it.
I'm glad to be able to join you guys. I've been, obviously I've missed a bunch of these, and I try not to jump in unless I really have something I want to talk about as well. Try to highlight the community aspects of things by not being in here, because I know a lot of the questions will come my way. And, we don't always necessarily need to go that route. But today, I'm happy to be here. Hope everyone's enjoying their week. Had a good 4th if you're in the U.S. and all that stuff. So one of the things that I get asked about a lot recently is what's going on in Dubai. Obviously, I left the city for a couple of months. The summer months are really, really unbearably hot, and a lot of people leave the city. There's a lot of, sort of sporadic meetings and stuff like that you can get into, but mostly everyone is not there. And it'll be, when I get back in August, it'll be almost probably 130 degrees Fahrenheit, which is horrendous. So yeah, not many people there, not much of a reason to be there. So I've taken the opportunity to go spend some time with family in the U.S. and enjoy the non-humid hotness. So, but that said, lots of stuff is still happening over there. Before I left, I was meeting in the Chamber of Commerce, and I think like there's a probably most people think of the Chamber of Commerce as like their local business center sort of thing, which is fair. But, the Chamber of Commerce of the United States is extremely powerful, has a lot of influence, etc. The same can be said about the Chamber of Commerce in Dubai. Despite the fact that Dubai is a city, the Emirates are in many ways their own countries, right? It's not dissimilar to like the European Union, right? It's all different countries. It's somewhere between the EU and the USA, right? It's united a bunch of lands, the Emirates, but it's they still have basically mandate their own rules. So the Chamber of Commerce in the UAE, in Dubai, is very, very powerful, even across the entire country, and mandates a couple of Emirates, not just Dubai. So we've been going there as a result of conversations that have been taking place for almost 8 months now. Basically, I was brought into a conversation by a business partner of mine who has been a local of Dubai for something like 30 years. And he basically introduced me to an idea, and this is where sort of the Rugby Sevens came from. But he introduced me to a partner who was working on the Rugby Sevens, doing ticketing and things like that. And we kind of expanded the idea. And we're looking at doing something a lot more broad than the Rugby Sevens alone. And it's just grown and grown and grown over time. A lot of people started to get interested in the concept. And I'm giving you high-level information about what the concept is because there's still details to be worked out, and I don't want to give information that changes later. It's wrong, whatever. But essentially, what it is providing a Web3 layer, service layer to enterprise, which is basically what Divi Labs has been aiming to do for a long time, right? So this accelerates that process. And when I say accelerates, I don't mean that it's been fast. It's been actually like frustratingly slow, but it is what it is. You're dealing with a different culture in Dubai, a different business culture, and of course Ramadan happened, and they just have a very particular way of doing business. It's very methodical. They have to build trust with you. There's a lot of meetings that have to happen with a lot of different people. So one of our Emirati partners, we're getting into the sort of the nitty gritty, the details of what we want to do. And she says, okay, well, we need to meet with the Chamber of Commerce because we need to understand, what business activities will really be participating in and what kind of licensure that will require in the region, especially if this is going to be ultimately a global operation, right? Of course, it starts locally and expands globally. So I've been to the Chamber three or four times now, meeting with different individuals, groups of people, and different departments, ensuring that everyone's on the same page. Then eventually legal teams were brought in so that we can fully understand. I mean, we're talking about, of course, local law, but also international law. So it's a very specific type of lawyer. I've learned so much about everything pertaining to the law, both within that region and how things happen globally, like how some of these big tech companies are operating globally and how their licensure expands across, a variety of jurisdictions. But that's maybe a discussion for another time. So as I left the country, there were still ongoing discussions, and some things have moved forward. Some things have also moved slower. One of the cool things that happened is essentially, and this frustrated me initially, but then I realized how impactful this was going to be. So in another meeting with the chamber that I did not attend, but our partners were in, essentially the Chamber of Commerce was like, okay, we hear what you're trying to do. We need to bring in the Department of Economy and Tourism. So they've been brought in. Of course, that slows things down. Eid happened just recently. But this is important because now we're having additional, or now we've had, I should say, additional three-letter agencies come in from different departments throughout the economy in the country. And this enables us to do things. Ultimately, once it's all complete, all actually down and inked on paper, we're able to move much quicker and legally and expand a lot faster than the people that will come in and not have these connections. I think also the connection to these departments allows us to flow through opportunities like funding opportunities and things like that will come as a result of our partnership with the chamber and these other departments. So I just got an update yesterday, and it sounds like most of the sort of discussions have been finalized. It's just a matter now of actually establishing a company, which has been kind of a nightmare because you have to have an Arabic name as well as a English name, and getting that approved.
You have to have an Arabic name too?
Correct. You have to have an Arabic name for the company, so that has to be approved. Just like, if you've ever set up an LLC in the U.S. or in your city or whatever, if somebody else has your name within your industry already, you can't use the name, right? Mm-hmm. But that's easy enough because you speak English. So trying to figure out how to have both the word in English and in Arabic and not have it not be taken already is difficult. So we've been through like 20 iterations already of different names. Thankfully, we have 2 Emirati partners on the team that have been helping with the translations. But yeah.
So would you describe this relationship, this elbow rubbing, and all these kinds of things, like I don't mean it to sound dismissive in any way, but like dating almost. You're courting people, and these partnerships are a courting style relationship. And the signing on the paper would kind of like being marriage almost in a way. I mean, it's a lot of work.
Exactly right.
Imagine. Yeah.
No, it's actually a good analogy. The way they do business there is, I imagine, similar to the way business was done in the United States like 20 or 30 years ago. Lots of handshakes, lots of in-person meetings, and lots of relationship building before the marriage is consummated, so to speak. The process can be a bit frustrating, like I said. But the thing is, they are very protective of their culture and they're very protective of their money. A lot of people come to Dubai looking for investment, looking to set up companies, and looking to commit crime, frankly. And they want to make sure that that's not what you're doing, right?
So it's all about relationships, then, and you have to 100%. on that moment where you're building those connections, you're trying to discern whether or not people are scammers, but they're also, the good ones are also trying to see whether or not you're a scammer too, I would imagine. So it takes a lot of relationship building.
Exactly, and it's happened. I mean, even especially within crypto, you have a lot of people that have gone to Dubai, raised money on ICOs from big, sheikhs and people that are very important in the country, and screwed them over. So, and it's hard to pursue those things. You kind of just write it off. So they want to make sure that that's not what's happening here. It doesn't help either that our industry consistently disappoints. And we had Luna and Celsius and BlockFi and FTX and all the others that had, even Atomic Wallet recently, that have just, whether due to oversight or lack of ethics, crumbled. So when you go into a conversation as a professional and you're trying to make a good impression, you have sort of this black cloud following you, whether you like it or not. So to brighten that up and to bring the sunlight out, it does take some time, and it's not easy. But we're getting there, and that's what's very exciting. Is like when this is done, and I've heard this from everybody we've spoken to across the board about this project. 5 words: how do I get in? Every time, how do I help? How do I get involved? This is it's going to have such a large impact because there's no one that's actually, from an infrastructure perspective, from a regulatory perspective, there's no one that's actually equipped to solve the problems and innovate in the way that we're about to be able to. Even, your Binances, your crypto.coms, etc., they have licensure to do exchange, activities, but they're not infrastructure players. They're not wallet providers necessarily. Binance has Trust Wallet, crypto.com has their DeFi wallet, but that's not their primary focus, right? And they're more so consumer apps. While we do have consumer-facing app, our pivot, our sort of new direction into B2B, at least from the Divi Lab side, is unique, I think, in the industry. And it has been an uphill battle for sure. But now that the wallet has been updated and it continues to be updated, it's feeling a lot smoother, and there's a lot of infrastructural changes that will enable more business-to-business friendly activities. That's, the whole team is moving in lockstep, even though it may seem, I don't know what it seems like to people, but I'm maybe too close to the situation. I see a lot of stuff happening.
Thank you so much for that share. I think that was awesome. I think it's good that you confirm my opinion that it's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of rubbing elbows, and it's a lot of shaking hands. And so I think that's probably what it's hard for me to imagine, because I'm in the fire, as Rob is in the fire, or any of us are in the fire. It's a completely different fire that you're in. And I have no idea what it's like to go out and try to sit down with people over hours, and essentially you're selling an idea, right? And it's interesting to them and how you can help solve those problems. I think that's totally awesome. Renu, did we have any questions?
Nope, haven't had any questions come through. But if anybody's got any questions, put their hands up. Oh yeah, we've got one. Okay. Oh, I think Rob had dropped out.
Rob dropped? No, Rob's back. There he is. He's back.
Does anybody else have any questions for Nick?
I'm in a thunderstorm and my internet seems to be going in and out. I'm sorry about that.
No worries. I don't think we've got any questions. So, Nick, thank you so much for sharing all of that. I know, being on that journey with you, we know how we could be, but we keep pushing.
Appreciate you guys.
Right, I think that pretty much wraps it up for the week.
Hey, I want to just remind everybody, I'm just interjecting here. I see Chaos Cube is in the community. For those people who want to, what do you call them? Minting or whatever you call, you can spawn. I don't know what Chaos Cube called it now. Forgive me for not remembering, but you can use eDivi, I think is the big point on that. So you can go ahead and summon, that's what he called it, summon your Chaos Cube. So for those of you who like those fun NFTs that Chaos Cube is producing, you can use eDivi for that now. So
brilliant. Thank you, Roy. Cool. Thank you, everyone, for joining in, and see you all next week. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Cheers.